Welcome to a new episode of the podcast. VoxAgent is made by AI for business executives that work with AI. Hello, and welcome to a new deep dive. Today, we're taking a close look at some really big tech news hitting the enterprise world. Salesforce, the CRM giant, is planning a massive $8 billion acquisition.
That's right. And they're targeting Informatica, a company really well known for data management.
Exactly. So we're diving deep into this planned deal. We're using excerpts from Salesforce data.pdf to really understand the strategic thinking behind it.
Yeah, what does it all mean?
Our mission for you today is basically to cut through the noise and figure out what this huge $8 billion acquisition actually means. It's Salesforce's largest since they bought Slack back in 2021.
That was a big one, too.
It was. And this one, it seems like it's really about uniting their customer relationship management powerhouse with some, serious advanced data management capabilities. Think of this as your shortcut, to understanding why this matters for the future of enterprise tech, data, and especially AI and what it means for you.
What's really fascinating here, I think, is the timing and the core problem they're trying to solve. Salesforce has already seen, real traction with their Agentforce platform. They've closed over 1,000 paid deals.
That's pretty good traction.
It is. But as those early adopters start scaling up, they're hitting a wall, a fundamental wall.
And let me guess, that wall is data, right? Agentforce, these powerful AI applications, they don't just need any data.
Exactly. They need data that's transparent, that has context, and crucially, that's rigorously governed, meeting all the compliance, quality, privacy rules.
Right, the trustworthy stuff.
Precisely. And this acquisition seems driven by three key strategic needs for Salesforce. You can think of these as the core insights behind this massive investment. First, it's about truly embedding these autonomous capabilities like Agentforce across their whole platform.
Yeah, okay.
Platforms like Einstein, GPT, and Agentforce, they can only really deliver on their promise if they have access to unified, high-quality data. And that data needs full lineage so you can trace it back, see how it changed, and robust governance.
Makes sense.
And Informatica provides that essential foundation. They're tools for data integration, data cataloging, which is kind of like making a map of all your data master, data management, data quality, privacy. It's the whole package.
So they're not just building the fancy AI layer on top. They're actually building the reliable data plumbing underneath it, making sure the information the AI uses is solid and traceable.
That's a perfect way to put it, exactly. The second driver is competitive positioning. This looks like a direct answer to Microsoft.
Ah, Microsoft. Always the comparison.
Well, yeah. Microsoft has that integrated approach, right? Bundling Azure data services like Data Factory and Purview with Dynamics 365, sticking Copilot AI everywhere. Salesforce kind of needed a comprehensive offering to match that stack.
So a strategic chess move on the big enterprise board. Got to compete head-to-head.
Definitely. And third, it's about capturing a bigger slice of the enterprise data market itself. By owning the data pipeline and the governance layer, Salesforce can offer what you might call a closed-loop system.
Okay, what does that mean exactly? Closed loop.
It means data flows seamlessly from, say, ingestion into their platform, then to insight generation in Data Cloud or Tableau, and then straight to action via CRM or Agentforce, all within their controlled framework. That's much harder for competitors to replicate well.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's moving beyond just managing customer relationships to owning the entire data journey connected to the customer and maybe even broader operations, pulling all that data into the Salesforce world.
Exactly. And they're anticipating some pretty significant synergies from this, both on the tech side and, getting it to market.
How so?
Technologically, their Data Cloud and the MuleSoft integration platform get a serious brush from Informatica's strong data pipelines and governance features. And for go-to-market, boom, Salesforce gets immediate access to Informatica's 5,000-plus global enterprise customers.
Wow, 5,000.
Yeah, plus Informatica's deep expertise in data-heavy industries like finance, healthcare, public sector. That opens up huge cross-selling potential.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. Let's talk about the players themselves and the market context. Salesforce has a history of these big acquisitions, don't they? They're not exactly shy.
They certainly haven't been. They've systematically grown way beyond just CRM. Remember MuleSoft in 2018, $6.5 billion for integration.
Right.
Then Tableau in 2019, $15.7 billion for analytics.
Huge one.
And Slack in 2021, a massive $27.7 billion for collaboration. Each step was clearly designed to build out this end-to-end customer-focused platform.
But then things slowed down a bit, right? There was that period with
Yeah.
activist investors pushing them. Focus shifted inward.
Yeah, exactly. In 2022 and 2023, they really focused hard on efficiency. They even temporarily disbanded their M&E committee.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but they doubled down on internal innovation, especially around AI, with Einstein GPT and Agentforce. Then, late 2024, they bought Own Backup, the data backup firm, for about $1.9 billion. That sort of signaled a return to deals. But Informatica, this really marks a new chapter. It's clearly focused on building that foundational data infrastructure needed to power these big enterprise-scale AI deployments.
So tell us more about Informatica. They're not a new kid on the block, are they? Been around in data for ages.
Oh yeah, Informatica's been around since 1993. 3 decades of deep enterprise data management experience. They started out mainly with ETL extract, transform, load, moving data around.
A classic data moving tool.
Right. But they evolved into a much broader platform, the Intelligent Data Management Cloud, or IDMC. Their toolkit is pretty extensive now. Data integration, ingestion, metadata management through data catalogs, solid data quality tools, master data management, MDM for getting that single view of data, plus data privacy tools.
So it's not just about moving data anymore. It's about cleaning it, understanding it, governing it before it gets used by AI or anything else.
That's the core value proposition. Exactly. And they have, as we said, over 5,000 enterprise customers globally. They're consistently leaders in Gartner's Magic Quadrants for things like data integration, data quality. A key differentiator for them is their Claire engine.
Claire?
Yeah, CLAIRE. It uses machine learning to automate a lot of those tedious data management tasks.
So they've already got AI in their data management tools. That sounds like a really natural fit for Salesforce's AI plans.
It really does seem like it, and they've made a decent transition to the cloud. Over half their revenue is cloud-based now, which is pretty good for a company with that legacy. But, and this is a critical point, maybe a challenge for Salesforce.
Uh-oh, what's the catch?
Roughly half, maybe 50% of Informatica's customer workloads are still running on premises. That's a significant chunk for a cloud-first company like Salesforce to handle.
Yeah, that could be tricky. And what about the bigger market picture? AI is the buzzword everywhere, but companies are hitting that data wall we mentioned. Is that the main driver?
That's precisely it. Enterprise interest in AI is just exploding, but the bottleneck for actually getting value at scale. It's almost always fragmented, messy, poor quality data. Companies find their AI projects just stall without clean, unified, governed data.
So this combination directly tackles that pain point.
Right. Salesforce plus Informatica offers that comprehensive data management specifically designed to fuel large-scale AI applications. It's a solution to that bottleneck.
And it fits with the wider industry trends too, doesn't it? Data platforms adding AI companies needing data tools, more regulation.
Absolutely. You see data warehouse players like Snowflake embedding machine learning. AI firms quickly realize they need solid data foundations. And regulations, GDPR, APA, new AI governance rules, they're making data quality, lineage, privacy completely non-negotiable.
So Salesforce's move is kind of offensive and defensive.
I think that's a great way to see it. Offensive because it lets them leap ahead with an integrated AI plus data stack, but also defensive, ensuring their own AI outcomes are reliable, compliant, and can stand up against maybe using external data platforms.
Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts a bit, the technical side. How does Informatica actually slot into Salesforce's existing setup? Data Cloud, Agentforce, MuleSoft.
Right. So Salesforce's current foundation is built around Customer 360, Data Cloud for unifying customer data, MuleSoft for integration, Tableau for the analytics piece, and then Agentforce sitting on top doing the AI automation. Informatical's capabilities are set to really augment each of these layers significantly.
How specifically? Where does it plug in?
Okay, let's take the data integration layer first. Informatica brings really powerful ETL and ELT tools, different ways to move and transform data, plus hundreds of connectors. This lets them pull data from basically any enterprise source, think SAP, Oracle, old legacy databases, other clouds, right into Salesforce Data Cloud.
So it broadens the reach considerably.
Hugely, and this complements MuleSoft. MuleSoft is great for real-time API connections, right? Informatica adds the power for robust bulk data pipelines. Together, they create a much more powerful, unified way to get all sorts of enterprise data into the Salesforce ecosystem.
Okay, so MuleSoft for the real-time stuff. Informatica for the heavy lifting from back-end systems. Is that a fair way to think about it?
That's a pretty good simplification, yeah. Then Informatica's metadata catalog and lineage system that creates what you could call a system of understanding across all that data.
A system of understanding, like a data map.
Kind of, yeah. AI agents, analysts, regular users, they'll be able to see exactly where a piece of data came from, how it relates to other data, how it's changed over time. That context is absolutely essential for AI reasoning and also for meeting compliance rules.
That sounds critical for building trust. You need to know why the AI is saying what it's saying, where the info came from.
Absolutely. Then there's Master Data Management, MDM. That capability will likely sit within Data Cloud to sort out inconsistencies. Different versions of a customer record scattered across systems. MDM reconciles those into a single trusted record.
The golden record.
Exactly. Ensures AI agents are working with consistent, accurate facts about customers, products, whatever it might be. And finally, Informatica's data quality services will be deeply embedded. They'll automatically detect and fix errors before the data gets used by AI or shows up in dashboards, makes the whole data cloud much more reliable.
So the plan isn't just to bolt Informatica on, it's to deeply weave its platform into Salesforce's infrastructure.
Yes, that seems to be the clear intention. Salesforce has said they want to incorporate Informatica's IDMC platform directly into their infrastructure. They specifically talk about creating a single data pipeline with MDM on Data Cloud. And they explicitly state this is to enhance the foundation for Agentforce, MuleSoft, and Tableau.
Okay, can you give us a really concrete example? How would this combined power work in a real business scenario?
Sure. Let's imagine an autonomous sales agent, part of Agentforce maybe. Its job is to draft a complex proposal for a big client. With this integrated setup, that agent could securely and in real time pull the customer's history from Salesforce CRM. Then, using Informatica's pipelines, it checks current inventory and pricing directly from the company's SAP ERP system. It could also grab relevant support ticket data from Service Cloud.
Wow. Pulling from all those different places.
Right. And Informatica's metadata catalog helps the agent understand the data from all these sources, what it means, how it relates. Governance policies, also applied via Informatica maybe, ensure it only accesses permitted info and logs everything for compliance. So the agent uses all this rich, governed, up-to-date context to draft a really accurate, relevant proposal automatically.
That is powerful. The AI isn't just stuck with Salesforce data. It can reliably and safely use data from anywhere in the enterprise. That really breaks down those traditional data silos.
That's the key takeaway, exactly. The combined platform aims to offer the whole chain. Ingestion from any source, harmonization using MDM and quality rules, storage probably leveraging Salesforce's own data warehouses and data cloud cataloging so you can find stuff, and then access via APIs or AI queries. The big goal, a unique, unified architecture purpose-built for enabling widespread autonomous operations.
Sounds great on paper. What's the catch?
The catch, as they themselves acknowledge, is execution. They need to pull off this deep integration quickly and smoothly. They even mentioned a fast timeline, which adds pressure.
Okay, execution is key. Now, how does this mega deal shake up the competitive landscape? Who's really going to feel the heat from this?
Oh, it definitely changes the game on several fronts. First, the rivalry with Microsoft Dynamics. That just got way more intense.
Right, head-to-head.
Salesforce can now arguably match many of Microsoft Azure's core data capabilities. Think Data Factory for integration, Purview for governance. Now, Microsoft still has big advantages like their Office Suite, M365, and that huge OpenAI partnership.
Sure.
And Microsoft will likely respond by pushing deep Azure Dynamics integration, really emphasizing that M365 Copilot synergy. But major enterprise AI deals, they increasingly look like a direct Salesforce versus Microsoft contest.
What about Oracle? They also pitch that complete enterprise cloud story. How does this affect them?
It definitely weakens Oracle's claim, especially around that critical data management layer you need for modern AI. Oracle might double down on their deep ERP process integration or maybe database level stuff. They might even look for their own alliances or acquisitions in the data space. But Salesforce is now challenging Oracle much more directly, not just in CRM and CX, but with the underlying data capabilities too.
And then there are the pure play data platforms like Snowflake. They've been on a tear, becoming the go-to cloud data warehouse for lots of companies.
Yeah, this poses a direct threat to Snowflake and also others like Databricks. Think about it. If you can do effective analytics and AI-driven processes right inside Salesforce Data Cloud, using Informatica to pull in data from anywhere.
Then why export it all out to Snowflake first?
Exactly. Customers might just skip that step. Analysts have specifically pointed out this acquisition could hurt Snowflake. So Snowflake and Databricks will probably stress their neutrality. Working with all applications, maybe push performance for huge analytics jobs, and definitely deepen partnerships with non-Salesforce apps like SAP or ServiceNow to stay essential.
Sounds like this could also just generally drive prices down, or at least pressure them, as these big vendors bundle more stuff together.
Yeah, that's a very likely outcome. When a mega vendor like Salesforce bundles sophisticated integration, governance, data quality right into their main platform, those standalone tools from other vendors suddenly seem, well, comparatively pricey.
Right.
And it accelerates that broader trend we see everywhere. Enterprise tech consolidation towards integrated suites. Other big application players, maybe Google, maybe SAP, might feel pressure now to buy their own data management companies to keep up.
What about the smaller guys, the independent data vendors?
It gets tougher for them, especially those focused on specific niches like just cataloging or just MDM. They face challenges competing against these bundled offerings and could become acquisition targets themselves.
But surely some companies still want a multi-vendor approach. Avoid putting all their eggs in one basket. That's always the counter-argument, isn't it?
It is, and that's a crucial counter trend. That desire for choice and avoiding lock-in will absolutely keep some level of competition alive. But for organizations already heavily invested in Salesforce, this deal makes that integrated path incredibly compelling. Think reduced complexity, potentially lower costs.
So it strengthens Salesforce with their existing base and helps them attract new customers.
For sure. Especially customers maybe using Salesforce CRM but relying on, say, Oracle or IBM for the heavy data lifting until now. This gives them a more complete Salesforce native option.
And again, it all comes back to that execution point you mentioned.
Absolutely critical. Any stumbles in the integration, technical or organizational, could slow things down, frustrate existing Informatica customers, and open the door for competitors to jump in. But if they execute well and quickly, this could seriously accelerate Salesforce's growth, especially in that huge, what did they cite, $150+ billion addressable data market.
Okay, beyond the market battles, let's talk tangible benefits for customers.
Yeah.
What's the actual value proposition here for the enterprise using these tools?
I think the number one benefit is that move towards a truly unified platform strategy. For customers, this means one integrated environment for data management, AI automation, and their core business processes. They can avoid the headache and cost of stitching together separate tools for integration, quality, governance, MDM.
Less patchwork.
Exactly. It should streamline implementation, reduce ongoing costs, and ultimately make the Salesforce platform much stickier. Keeping more critical data and processes within that single governed ecosystem makes it harder to leave.
And given Informatica's strong focus on data governance, I'd imagine that's a huge plus for companies worried about compliance and, well, using AI responsibly.
Oh, it's a massive advantage, especially now with AI booming. Enhanced governance and compliance are absolutely critical. Informatica brings that confidence in having a single source of truth.
Right.
Decisions, AI actions, they're based on trusted, high-quality data with clear lineage. That significantly reduces operational risk and makes it easier to comply with regulations like GDPR, HIPAA, and all the emerging AI governance frameworks that demand transparency and control.
So you can enforce privacy rules before the AI even sees the data.
Precisely, within the data flow itself. And
Yeah.
that data transparency and lineage, it's also key for AI explainability, understanding why an AI recommended something or made a certain decision. Building that trust is essential if you want widespread AI adoption, especially in regulated industries.
So it's not just efficiency, it's about building responsible, trustworthy AI that meets all the rules.
Exactly right. Another big benefit they're banking on is innovation acceleration. By combining Salesforce's strength in applications with Informatica's data platform automation, remember that Claire AI engine they have, they expect to speed up developing and delivering new AI features and workflows.
Faster innovation is always good.
Yeah, Salesforce's COO, Robin Washington, was quoted saying this deal will enable the next phase of AI-driven growth on a faster timeline. So expect quicker delivery of things like those proactive AI assistants we talked about, anticipating needs before you even ask.
And that translates to bottom-line benefits for businesses.
It should. Higher potential productivity, better customer satisfaction, ultimately driving revenue growth. Plus, there are expected cost savings and operational efficiency gains. Salesforce themselves expect long-term financial benefits, like improved margins.
And for customers.
Customers might see real savings from consolidating vendor licenses, getting rid of separate ETL tools, catalog tools, and DM tools. A simpler IT architecture usually means lower maintenance costs. And crucially, built-in data quality tools. They dramatically cut down the time data scientists and AI teams spend just cleaning data, you know that stat, right? Up to 80% of their time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So this speeds up AI projects, reduces costs, and better data obviously leads to more efficiency in sales, service, everything. Finally, this combo gives Salesforce significant competitive differentiation. An integrated platform looks much better than trying to piece together multiple vendors. It reduces complexity, offers potentially better performance with real-time governed data for AI, should help Salesforce win more deals and keep customers happy. Like the analyst said, it positions Salesforce more favorably long-term to capitalize on generative AI.
Okay, let's make this even more real. How would this combination actually play out in different industries? Give us some specific use cases this unlocks.
Right, because the key is that AI agents and apps can now reliably access governed data from any enterprise source, not just Salesforce data. That's the game changer. So in financial services,
Okay.
imagine virtual financial advisors. They could analyze transaction data from core banking systems integrated via Informatica, combine it with CRM history, and securely recommend tailored products, all with embedded governance ensuring compliance, maybe even helping prevent fraud. Or think about autonomous claims processing, pulling together disparate data much faster.
That makes total sense for regulated industries where data quality and governance are absolutely critical.
Exactly. And it applies similarly to healthcare and life sciences. You could have clinical AI assistants monitoring patient recovery by integrating data from electronic health records, lab systems, medical devices, wearables.
All high PA compliant, presumably.
Yes, Informatica helps ensure that high BA compliance while giving the AI the full context it needs. It could also speed up drug trials by unifying complex data from different research sites and sources.
What about industries heavy on operations like retail or manufacturing?
Good question. In retail, think truly hyper-personalized marketing. AI agents analyzing point-of-sale data, online browsing, social media, loyalty programs, all integrated and governed to generate perfectly timed, tailored offers for individuals. Or supply chain AI automatically adjusting inventory based on integrated real-time sales, supplier data, even weather patterns.
Wow.
And in manufacturing, Industry 4.0. Predictive maintenance gets way smarter, unifying IoT sensor data from machines, data from manufacturing execution systems, service records, all to accurately predict failures and even automate repair orders.
But what about the public sector, governments?
Absolutely. Agencies could deploy virtual service agents, chatbots that can access data across siloed systems permits, licenses, constituent records to answer citizen questions instantly or automate complex application processing, improves efficiency, transparency, maybe even flags anomalies for human review.
So the common thread across all these industries is that AI gets a complete, trustworthy view of data no matter where it lives, thanks to Informatica feeding into the Salesforce platform.
That's exactly it. These examples show the potential for AI that works across functions to deliver real business results, mainly by breaking down those data silos and ensuring quality and governance at scale.
All right, this all sounds very promising. We've covered the strategy, the tech, the competition, the benefits, the use cases, but let's be balanced. Big acquisitions, especially complex technical ones like this, are rarely easy. What are the big challenges and potential hurdles here?
That's a really critical point for any enterprise planning around this. There are definitely significant hurdles. First off, just the technical integration complexity is massive.
Right, merging two huge platforms.
Yeah, trying to merge two large cloud platforms, unify the UIs, the back-end systems, the data models, ensuring it all performs consistently at scale. That's inherently difficult. Aligning Salesforce Data Cloud with Informatica's IDMC, sorting out potential overlap with MuleSoft, actually building that single data pipeline they talk about and doing it quickly, that's a huge engineering lift.
And Informatica connects to hundreds of systems, right?
Yeah.
Including old on-prem stuff.
Exactly. Supporting that broad connectivity while pushing towards Salesforce's cloud-native model adds layers of complexity. Any early missteps in the integration could really damage customer perception.
And you mentioned earlier that big chunk of Informatica customers still on-premises. That sounds like a particularly thorny issue for cloud-focused Salesforce.
It really is. Around half of Informatica's workloads are on-prem. Salesforce is overwhelmingly cloud. Figuring out how to smoothly transition those customers or deciding how to effectively support these often deeply embedded on-prem instances within their cloud strategy.
Yeah.
It's complex.
Why are they still on-prem?
Lots of reasons. Security policies, data residency rules, maybe latency concerns for certain processes, or just big investments in existing hardware. And analysts noted that Informatica's cloud migration has been slow, like 5% by 2024. So forcing the issue could alienate a big chunk of the customer base they just bought. But supporting legacy on-prem indefinitely increases costs for Salesforce. It's a tough balancing act. Plus, replacing deeply embedded Informatica often takes customers years of effort.
Okay, beyond the tech, there's always the people side, right? Cultural integration, organizational stuff, merging two different companies.
Absolutely. That's often underestimated. Salesforce has that fast-paced, sales-driven, cloud-first culture. Informatica comes from a more traditional enterprise IT background, used to longer implementation cycles, complex data setups, merging those teams, reconciling product roadmaps, keeping key talent happy on both sides. These are major challenges.
When Salesforce has a huge sales team to educate.
A massive sales and consulting org needs to get up to speed on these deep data management capabilities. Plus, remember, many Informatica customers use their tools with SAP, Oracle, Custom Apps, non-Salesforce systems. Salesforce has to convince those customers they'll remain neutral and keep supporting those integrations well, otherwise those customers might get nervous. And focusing heavily on integration might slow down innovation elsewhere in Salesforce, at least in the short term.
And any deal this big probably gets looked at by regulators.
Yes. Always. Large acquisitions attract scrutiny from antitrust bodies. While Salesforce and Informatica aren't direct competitors in every single area, bundling a top CRM platform with a top data management platform could raise questions about competition, especially around bundling.
So approval isn't guaranteed?
Approval is probably likely, but Salesforce will need to show that customers can still choose to use other data tools with Salesforce if they want. Data residency, global privacy rules, those are also complex when you integrate platforms holding sensitive data worldwide. And ironically, they now face even more pressure to prove their new AI operates ethically and within governance rules. They'll need rock-solid guardrails and audit trails.
Okay, and finally, for the customer actually trying to use this combined platform, it sounds like it won't be a simple switch flick, right? Implementation could be a big project itself.
Definitely not plug and play. Adopting the combined platform will likely require enterprises to map their current data architectures to the new model. They might need to re-platform some data or re-engineer existing pipelines, especially if they're currently using, say, Snowflake alongside Informatica and Salesforce.
There's a learning curve, too.
For sure. For data engineers, admins, business users, learning the new integrated tools and workflows takes time and effort. The sheer scope and power of the combined platform could even be overwhelming initially. Salesforce needs to provide really clear guidance, best practices, templates to help customers manage that complexity. Enterprises that don't start planning and preparing now could face real implementation struggles later.
And managing the overall cost and complexity is always a background concern with these big enterprise suites.
Right. While consolidating vendors might save money, the new setup could involve complex pricing, maybe add-ons for certain features, potentially increasing cost for some. Consolidation also inherently increases the risk of vendor lock-in.
Harder to switch later.
Exactly. And while the tech is powerful, you still need people with the right skills to manage it effectively. That means training or hiring costs. And fundamentally, no technology magically fixes organizational problems like data silos or a weak data governance culture. Customers still need to tackle those people and process issues.
And it's probably fair to mention Salesforce hasn't always had the smoothest integrations with past big acquisitions, have they?
That's a fair observation, and something customers will definitely be watching closely. Integrating Tableau wasn't perfectly smooth initially, and getting Slack fully woven into core workflows took time. You could argue Informatica's integration is even more critical because it underpins the data quality and governance for the entire AI and analytics stack.
Right, if the data's not right.
Nothing else works properly. And Informatica itself has historically faced some user complaints about complexity and cost. So Salesforce needs to prove they can simplify the experience without gutting essential enterprise features. And remember that timeline they gave. Deal closing early fiscal 2027, earnings benefit a year after that. That signals this is a complex, long-term integration effort.
Okay, so bringing it all back home, for you listening, the enterprise executive, the architect, what does this all boil down to? What should you be doing about this right now?
I think the biggest takeaway is that this acquisition is a clear signal. You need to develop, or maybe refine, a comprehensive integrated data and AI platform strategy. If you're already a big Salesforce shop, this is a significant opportunity.
An opportunity to simplify.
Exactly. Simplify vendor relationships, consolidate data integration and governance tools you might be getting from others right now. Start thinking about how to align your tech roadmaps to take advantage of this planned integration.
So don't just sit back and wait. Get proactive.
Absolutely. Be proactive now. Keep a close eye on Salesforce's roadmaps for the combined platform. Attend their events. If you're already an Informatica customer, start talking to your Salesforce reps now. Understand the potential impact on licensing, support, migration options. Look at your current data tools, which ones might become redundant, which might integrate better down the line. Plan for potentially shifting to the native integrative flows as they mature. And don't forget change management retraining teams, updating policies, communicating what's coming.
What about actually getting those benefits we talked about earlier? Better decisions, faster AI. How do companies make sure they realize that value?
Realizing those benefits isn't just about buying the tech. It requires real strategic alignment and investment upfront. Critically, it demands much closer collaboration between business leaders and IT leaders.
Breaking down those silos again?
Yes. Strengthen your data governance boards. Make sure you have stakeholders from CRM teams, sales, service, marketing sitting alongside your data experts, engineering, analytics. Make joint decisions about data ownership, definitions, quality rules, how AI should be used. This deal makes it crystal clear. Data strategy is business strategy now, not just an IT thing. Your CMO, your head of CX, they get powerful new tools, but they also need to be accountable for using them responsibly via clear governance.
Are there specific risks enterprises should be watching out for as they navigate this?
Yeah, definitely be proactive about mitigating risks. Negotiate contracts carefully, really understand the lock-in implications. Push Salesforce for commitments on platform openness, ensuring you can still integrate with competitor systems if needed. Keep a close eye on costs as new features and licenses roll out. Plan ahead for any skills gaps maybe you need to hire or train people, and revisit your multi-year tech roadmaps. Do a real comparison. Does maintaining a multi-vendor stack still make sense, or is pivoting more towards this integrated Salesforce path better long-term?
And from a pure enterprise architecture perspective, what's the impact?
Potentially significant simplification. Fewer point-to-point integrations needed between your core systems like CRM, ERP, HR, and your data platforms. Having real-time or near real-time data access within the operational platform might reduce the need for some complex batch exports or separate analytics environments.
But you still need backups, right?
Oh, absolutely. Ensure critical data is still protected. Salesforce buying own backup is relevant there. And make sure you can still interoperate with systems you won't consolidate, like maybe existing data lakes or specialized AI platforms. Use those Informatica connectors thoughtfully. Architects should be proactively sketching out reference architectures, incorporating these new pieces, mapping future data flows.
And what's the key message for the business executives listening?
Use this as a catalyst. Pursue digital transformation and AI automation more aggressively. Why? Because a major roadblock getting trustworthy, governed enterprise data is potentially being solved by your core platform vendor. Challenge your teams. What specific processes can we automate with AI now that will have better data context? Set real, measurable goals for AI adoption. Maybe AI handles X% of routine queries or automates Y sales task. Craft those compelling visions for how this stronger platform helps you hit key business goals, entering new markets, boosting customer experience, driving efficiency. So to wrap up the implications for you, embrace the opportunity here, but prepare proactively for the changes. Drive that organizational alignment, especially between business and IT, around a unified data and AI strategy. Adapting early will be key to getting the benefits and staying competitive. This acquisition really signals the end of an era for building core enterprise solutions by just stitching together dozens of separate tools. The future is about combined intelligence and execution on a unified foundation. It's not just about tech, it's about reshaping how you use data and AI to win.
This has been a really insightful look at a major shift, a potential watershed moment in the enterprise tech landscape, and what it means for everyone using these platforms. Thank you for walking us through this deep dive into the Salesforce Informatica deal. And here's something for you, our listeners, to consider as you think about your own path forward. In this emerging age of the autonomous enterprise, what skills and roles will be most critical for humans working alongside intelligent AI agents? Thank you for joining the podcast, and see you soon.